Picture this. A decorated U.S. Army Brigadier General, one of the highest-ranking women ever to wear the star, stands alone in the moonlit woods of Fort Bragg, her uniform ripped, wrists bound with 550 cord to a towering pine tree. Her cover is gone, her pride stripped away, and 5 soldiers she once trusted more than her own family circle her like wolves. One of them, a cocky staff sergeant she personally wrote a glowing evaluation for, spits at her boots and says, "Tonight, ma'am, you're not the general. Tonight, you're just Karen." The camera lingers on her face, tears mixing with camouflage paint, but something unbreakable flickers in her eyes. If you love stories of betrayal, revenge, and the moment the hunted becomes the hunter, hit that subscribe button right now because this one is going to leave you speechless. Her name is Brigadier General Karen M. Hawthorne, callsign Reaper 6, the woman who led the 82nd Airborne into some of the most classified ops of the last decade. Everyone in the Army knew her reputation, ice in her veins, fire in her orders, and zero tolerance for weakness. That's why what happened on the night of October 17th, 2024, shocked the entire military community when the footage leaked. It started with a simple training exercise gone wrong, or at least that's what they told the Inspector General at first. Hawthorne had handpicked a team of 5 rising stars from her brigade for a brutal leadership reaction course deep in the Hoffman training area. No comms, no support, just raw survival and command decisions under stress. She believed in breaking people to build them stronger. She never thought they'd break her. The first sign something was off came when the staff sergeant, a squared-away Ranger tab soldier named Eric Rourke, started questioning her orders in front of the others. Hawthorne shut him down hard, the way she'd shut down colonels twice her age. "You want to lead, Sergeant? Earn it tomorrow when you're not crying about blisters." The group laughed, except Rourke. His eyes went dark, and the others followed his lead. By nightfall, when they reached the final rally point, the mood had shifted. They were supposed to conduct an after-action review around a small fire. Instead, Rourke pulled a green smoke grenade, popped it, and the second it bloomed he gave the nod. 4 sets of hands grabbed her before she could even reach for the sidearm she wasn't carrying for trust building. Zip ties snapped around her wrists, paracord looped the tree, and within 90 seconds the most powerful woman on post was lashed tight. Boots barely touching the pine needles, they mocked her for 20 brutal minutes. They read her old fitness reports out loud in whiny voices, poured water on her head to cool the Reaper down, and took selfies with her, like she was some captured enemy commander. One captain, a guy whose silver star she'd personally pinned on his chest in Kandahar, even saluted her sarcastically and said, "Any last orders, ma'am?" The worst part, she didn't beg, she didn't cry. She just stared at each of them, memorizing faces, ranks the way. Betrayal smells like sweat and Monster energy drinks in the dark, but here's where the story turns. While they were busy flexing their new power, none of them noticed the tiny GPS beacon clip inside Hawthorne's belt buckle, standard issue for general officers on solo training. The second her heart rate spiked past 140 for more than 60 seconds, it auto-triggered a silent alert straight to the 82nd Airborne's Quick Reaction Force and every MP platoon on Fort Bragg. At 2:14 a.m., over 4,000 paratroopers from the entire division snapped, awake to the same emergency tone they hadn't heard since the Kabul evacuation. The message was simple: Reaper 6 down. Location ping. All units roll. Back in the woods, the 5 traitors were starting to realize they might have crossed a line they couldn't uncross. Rourke told the others to cut her loose and claim it was a leadership exercise gone too far, too late. The first Black Hawk thumped overhead, searchlight slicing through the pines like God himself was looking for Judgment Day. Then another. Then 6 more. Within 8 minutes, the forest lit up red with chem lights as hundreds of boots hit the ground. Soldiers from every battalion in the division formed a perimeter that stretched half a mile. You've never heard silence like the silence, when an entire airborne division goes dead quiet and waits for orders. The division commander, a 2-star who'd served under Hawthorne for years, stepped out of the lead bird with a bullhorn. His voice cracked when he said, "Brigadier General Hawthorne, are you injured, ma'am?" She answered with that calm, steady tone that had terrified Taliban warlords. "Negative, sir. just inconvenienced. A ripple of proud laughter rolled through the ranks. Then the two-star turned to the 5 soldiers now on their knees with MPs behind them and said words that would echo across every group chat from Bragg to Benning by sunrise. "You just assaulted a general officer of the United States Army. You are done." They untied her themselves, hands shaking, while 1,000 phones recorded every second. Hawthorne stood up straight, brushed the dirt off her uniform like it was just another day, and walked through a corridor of saluting paratroopers who'd literally dropped everything to come get their general. She didn't look back at the 5 being zip-tied themselves. She didn't need to. The footage shows her pausing only once, when a young female specialist handed her back her cover. Hawthorne put it on, squared it perfectly, and said loud enough for every microphone to catch it, "The Army takes care of its own, always." By morning, the story exploded. The Pentagon confirmed the arrests. The Secretary of Defense called it the fastest response to an assault on a flag officer in modern history, and every news channel played the clip of 4,000 soldiers standing in formation at dawn while Hawthorne addressed them without notes. She didn't talk about revenge. She talked about trust, about the difference between hard training and cowardice, and she ended with this line that still gives me chills. "Last night, 5 people forgot what the uniform means. This morning, 4,000 reminded them. The 5 soldiers, court-martialed, reduced to E1, dishonorably discharged, and sent to Leavenworth before Thanksgiving." General Hawthorne, promoted to Major General 3 months later, and given command of the entire 18th Airborne Corps. They say when she pinned on her 2nd star, the same specialist who handed her the cover back in the woods was there to salute first. Sometimes the Army breaks you. Sometimes it shows up with the entire sky full of Black Hawks to put you back together. That's the day the Reaper reminded everyone why you never, ever tie her to a tree. So tell me in the comments, from which part of the country are you watching this video right now? Drop your state, your city, wherever you're proud to be from, because stories like this belong to all of us.